The full team is here. It's another edition of Litter Media Live. I'm Dan Ramey, and he's Mike Smith, the icon. And off to our immediate left is Mr. Hand 2, Aaron Glandon.
I'm still pressing buttons.
And he's still pressing buttons. He pushes buttons every day.
He can't be Mr. Hand 2 anymore if he's actually on camera. That's only if his hand appears.
That is true. That is true. I guess I should double check to make sure this camera is working over here before I say Mr. Hand 2. He's Mr. Thumbs Up 2.
Mr. Thumbs Up 2.
Or is it Mr. Two Thumbs Up?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Sounds like an old Native American name. 2 Thumbs Up.
Him, Chief White Cloud. Welcome to the program, and thank you for watching. And we hope you weren't offended by what we just said. Thank you for joining us here today. We had a busy day yesterday for all three of us. We were doing things. And we even left Boy Junior over here working by himself.
Yes.
Yesterday, and he did a great job holding down the fort. So, and he'll be doing that again Monday.
We're getting used to this.
Which means we'll have a large viewing audience of, once again, all of his family members.
That's right. That's right.
I can see him now. We're gone on Monday, and he's reached out. Both grandmas are watching.
Feet propped up.
And he's going, finally, what I've wanted all my life. Total control.
Well, I didn't get my Dan and Mike puppets done in time for yesterday. Maybe I'll work on them over the weekend.
I did see one of our viewers was insisting he wanted to see that.
The puppets.
Who was that?
Traffic lights.
Yeah.
He was looking for hand puppets.
Are these finger puppets or hand puppets?
They'll probably be sock puppets.
Sock puppets. Okay.
Get the smell accurate.
Which ties us into accurate heating, cooling, and plumbing. Your total comfort. Make sure it's a comfortable sock so you can say your total comfort advisor. Let's get right to the program today. A look at our forecast, and we're expecting some rain, eh?
Possibility of some showers, maybe between 1 and 4 this afternoon here in our area. There have been some heavy thunderstorms that went through northern Ohio last night, just north of Columbus. That was like in the overnight hours. And this morning we've had some thunderstorms that have been going across northern Kentucky and extreme southern Ohio, but thus far it's not hit the upper Scioto Valley until possibly this afternoon. High today of 85. Look for some partial sunshine for Saturday with a chance of rain, and then Sunday looks like mostly sunny skies. Highs both of those days, 75, so about 10 degrees cooler than what you're expecting today.
It was roasting at the ball game last night. I should say at the ballpark. I'm sure it was roasting at your game as well, but you had the friendly shade of being in the booth, right?
Well, it was hot in there. Fortunate they had the fan. I got windows open, get a little cross circulation there, but getting set up, I was pretty sweaty beforehand. So yeah.
Now, before the commencement, I was in one dugout with some of the administration from Pickaway Ross. Then I walked to the other dugout, and it was a noticeable difference from one to the other. Just about drained everything out of you as you walked across that turf. But we'll review some of that for you coming up in just a moment. But first, let's tell you about one of our sponsors, Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Didn't we just talk about them?
Mm-hmm.
Your trusted comfort advisor. We're going away from sock puppets here. If you want to make sure that you are comfortable in your home or your business setting, you need to talk with Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com, and it takes you right to their website, accuratehvac.com.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Introducing the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. We want to put your pet in the spotlight. Pets with paws to pets with fins. If they gallop, crawl, or slither, play fetch, or simply curl up and snuggle. Send us a photo of your pet and we'll announce a new pet each week. And one pet will be crowned Pet of the Year. To nominate your pet, visit littermedia.com. Click on Pet of the Week. Tell us about your pet and be sure to include a photo. Watch Litter Media Live each Thursday for the announcement of the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. No purchase necessary. Contest applications must be from Ohio residents and at least 18 years old.
Life. It can get on top of you quickly, can't it? But with 211, it only takes one step to get connected to the help you need. 211 is always available to help. So get in touch today.
It is still live. It is still hot. It is still Hometown Motors Incorporated's spring sales event. New riding tractors starting at $1699.99. New zero-turn mowers starting at $3399.99. New walk-behinds starting at $399.99. New chainsaws starting at $279.99. New blowers starting at $199.99. And new trimmers starting at $229.99. Hurry in for the best selection. At these prices, it's not going to last long. Keep in mind, they're open till 5 today, but Saturdays, they're only open from 10 until 2. So you'll make sure that you take advantage as best you can of those 4 hours coming up on Saturday. Hometown Motors Incorporated, your store for the outdoors. All right, all the stuff that we're talking about you'll find on our website, littermedia.com, or our social media, which you'll find up in the upper right-hand corner of our front page at littermedia.com. That includes your YouTube, your Spotify, including Litter Media X, Facebook, and Litter Media Radio. More details on what was going on the radio last night with Mike Smith in sports. But first, let's tell you about what happened out at VA Memorial Stadium. There you see a big crowd again tonight for last night's event. It was commencement for 400-plus kids. I think they had 442 in their graduating class, and about 426 were in attendance last night. And my voice is still a little tired from reading all those names. There's the administration and the board members, and there's Jonathan Davis. He and I exchanged lineups right there at the home plate like they do before a ball game. We said, let's go ahead and just do this. But the kids were fantastic, and, of course, the Student of the Year was introduced by Jason Vesey here. And you might remember, if you looked at our YouTube channel, Kellen Kitchen, our Student of the Year. So congratulations to Kellen. Giving a really good speech. And there's Mom and Dad, and they're watching from the dugout. But we had a good time talking with them beforehand as well. And for those of you that don't know, he is Phil Bobo's grandson. So wanted to throw that out there as well. Congratulations. And again, a beautiful night. It was warm, but it was beautiful and really cooled off towards the end of the commencement. So appreciate them having us out for that again. Earlier in the day, I participated in the Circleville Elementary's When I Grow Up Career Day. And this is Mr. Andy Perkins' class, and there's Kurt Ludlow from Channel 6 and 28, as we hadn't seen each other for 30 years, probably close to 35 or so. And in the background there with taking pictures, you'll see Kimberly Polly. She is the administrative assistant for the folks at the Circleville Elementary. And there's Kurt, Kim, and me. I remember Kimmy when she was little and friends with her mom and dad over the years. And Kurt has been a friend of their family as well. But that was the fourth grade class. And Andy Perkins is the guy who sends us the Logan Elm football stats after the football game. So, but he teaches at Circleville. And I asked him, how's that go? Because you've got a Circleville helmet up here and decorate. Yeah, brown stuff everywhere. I felt very much at home. I told him it looked a lot like my office at the house. But it was really good to get together with these kids. And the amazing questions they asked, fantastic. Loved it. So we might be back next year as well.
Adena Health has announced the appointment of Andrew Bauer as the new Senior Operations Executive Officer of Adena Pike Medical Center and the health system's Vice President of its East and South regions effective September 1st. He succeeds Dave Zanny, who will retire at the end of August after more than a decade of transformational leadership at the Critical Access Hospital. Bauer, a Pike County native with deep community ties, currently serves as Director of Operations at Adena Pike Medical Center.
Ohio University Chillicothe is among fewer than 300 universities in the country to have earned designation as an opportunity college and university in the recently released Student Access and Earnings Classification. debuted with the updated Carnegie classifications. In addition, Ohio Chillicothe was also classified as professions-focused in the new Carnegie Institutional Classification System. The Opportunity College designation identifies colleges and universities whose graduates outperform earnings expectations when compared to peers in their region and that successfully enroll Pell-eligible and underrepresented students. The professions-focused classification is applied to colleges and universities for which the majority of degrees awarded are in fields that they are classified as pre-professional or career-aligned.
A couple of open house opportunities are coming up concerning the redevelopment of the Portsmouth Gases Diffusion Plant in Pike County. These are being led by the developers Centrus Energy Corporation, Trillium H2 Power, and Oklo Inc., as well as Hectate Energy. There's also a chance to discuss cleanup, property transfer, and other activities at the site at the U.S. Department of Energy. And there's the poster right there with all of the information. You can also find that on our share from social media.
Saturday, May 17th, which is tomorrow, the Knights of Columbus Council 15793 will host a drive-thru food distribution from 10 a.m. till noon. That's right behind St. Peter's Church, the corner of Church and Water Streets here in Chillicothe. Ross County residents in need of food are invited to enter the parking lot using the Church Street entrance and exit onto Water Street. Additionally, diapers and baby formula will also be available while supplies last. Distribution is scheduled to begin at 10 a.m., and they ask that you do not arrive early and block access to the church or Church Street. And might also mention that Footloose is being performed by Western High School tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday as well. So good luck to the kids down at Western in Latham.
Put on your national park knowledge to the Test at Trivia Night, hosted by Friends of Hopewell Culture National Historical Park. They're doing this at Tipplers Wine Club tomorrow, May 17th at 6:30 p.m. for an evening of fun, friendly competition, and great company. Our road report in Pike County, a bridge replacement project taking place on County Road 9 between State Route 124 and Fields Hollow Road. All lanes being maintained, but just be aware of a possible slowdown in that area. And that project goes through the fall of this year.
All right, sports is on the way, but first, let's tell you about Scioto Valley Dumpsters. 740-253-8389 is the number you need to call if you need a dumpster for your business or your residence. 740-253-8389.
The Bean Foundation wants to raise awareness about suicide prevention by sharing 988. Trained crisis counselors are available to talk 24/7, 365 days a year. 988. Save the number. Save a life. To learn more about the Bean Foundation, click on this ad on littermedia.com.
Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Each week, we'll announce the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Littermedia Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And in December, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Nominate any amateur athlete by visiting littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. You'll also see the players we've named throughout the year. Make your nomination today for the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Littermedia Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And at the end of our sportscast, we'll tell you who this week's Player of the Week is, so stick with us. Starting with sports, baseball.
Yeah, finally, after 2 rainouts, the third time was the charm to get this game in under sunshine. Last night, Unioto beat Zane Trace 6-1 to claim the SVC Baseball Gold Ball for a perfect 14-0 season. This is Unioto's 25th SVC Baseball Championship in school history. Sherman's pitcher KB Perkins did work on offense as well on the mound. He struck out 8 Zane Trace batters and himself drove in 4 of Unioto's 6 runs with an RBI double in the first and a bases-clearing double in the fourth to blow the game open. So congratulations. Zane Trace was the defending champ with a 12-2 record last year, but this year they'll be a runner-up with the identical conference record. Other sports from last night, softball tournament action. Chillicothe beat up Unioto 11-1 in 6 innings, so Chillicothe moves on to the next round against Sheridan. That is a Monday game in Logan at Logan High School. Sheridan beat Athens 11-1. For a second straight day, Hamilton Township and Marion Harding's softball tournament game was rained out. Division IV quarterfinal, Circleville Lady Tigers shut out Washington 21-0. Gallia Academy over Fairfield Union 15-13. D6 quarterfinal, Fairfield Christian beat Wellington. Division VII, Fisher Catholic 25-0 over Northside Christian. Regular season softball games last night saw Hillsborough, Western, Notre Dame over Logan Elm, Manchester, and Wheelersburg all winners. And, of course, baseball, we told you about Unioto's win over Zane Trace. Tays Valley clinched a share of the OCC Buckeye with a 10-1 win over Logan. In the Shack, Fairfield beat White Oak, check that, 8-7. Non-conference baseball winners last night include Piketon, Circleville, Jackson, Waverly, Jonathan Alder over Washington, McLean, Oak Hill, Rock Hill, Batavia over North Adams, Fairfield, Athens, and Portsmouth were all winners. Season came to a close for 2 of our area boys volleyball teams last night in the tournaments. Mount Vernon shut out Chillicothe 3-0, and Watterson did likewise to Unioto. Westfall had lost earlier in the week, so all of our area teams in boys volleyball are out of the postseason.
I happen to have, thanks to Newt Bonner, the FAC track results, and we had individual results, but we didn't have the team results. Miami Trace was the winner in the girls' meet, ahead of Chillicothe, followed by Hillsborough, McLean, Washington Courthouse, and Jackson. And on the boys' side, it was Hillsborough taking home the championship ahead of Chillicothe, followed by Jackson, Washington, Miami Trace, and McLean. So congratulations to the Lady Panthers and the Hillsborough boys track and field teams. The top 8 singles players and doubles players advanced out of the boys sectional tennis tournaments in Portsmouth at Shawnee State University and now headed to Monday's Division II Southeast District Tournament over at the Tennis Center at Ohio University. The doubles champions are Maddox Arledge and Mason Wolf of Logan Elm, and also singles champion Landon Smith of Jackson. And I think I met Mason Wolf last night, a graduate from Pickaway Ross Career Technology Center. So congratulations to those kids. And Paint Valley now has a new basketball coach for boys. He is Marcus Coleman. You might be familiar with Marcus. He was part of the basketball program last year, and he also has been over at Greenfield. He spent 6 years at Greenfield, first as an assistant in both the boys and girls programs, but then with Joe B. Stewart during his head coaching years. He was also the basketball coach with the McLean Tigers. So he'll be the new Bearcats coach. They will approve him on Tuesday at their board meeting.
The Coleman family in Greenfield have been involved in coaching for probably literally the last 50 years. I think there was 1 or 2 Colemans that were Legion coaches in baseball when my brother played, and that was 50 years ago. So that is a familiar name for folks in the Greenfield area.
And he may have even done your landscaping in that area because he's got a landscaping business.
Very well could be. Very well. Yesterday, I was at assignment up in Columbus at the OHSA Media Committee meeting, and a number of topics were discussed, but a couple of them that probably drawing attention led to this interview with OHSAA's Tim Street. Tim Street of Ohio High School Athletic Association. There's a discussion going on now, Tim, concerning lowering the number of teams per region from 16 to 12. Where are we with that?
Sure. Well, you're right, Mike. There's definitely a lot of discussion about the football playoffs right now. We have been at 16 schools per region for the last several years now. A lot of people remember we were at 8 schools per region for quite a few years, and then we did move to go to 12 in 2020, but then COVID hit, and that fall we led all the teams in the playoffs. Some schools didn't play football that year, so we went to 16 a couple years then after that. We've been at 16, but certainly there's a lot of conversation now about should we go back to 12, which is what the Coaches Association proposed. And so there's a lot of folks we're listening to on that. We did a survey with all of our member schools to get their opinion. That's a big piece of the puzzle. But there are other folks too. The leadership of the Coaches Association. There's a number of stakeholders that have a voice in that conversation. But ultimately, it will go to our board of directors, and our board does meet again in June. So an announcement could happen as soon as that. It could stay at 16. It could go to 12. So we'll see what the board wants to do.
And staying with football, discussion about girls flag football.
Right. So a lot of folks have probably seen, because ESPN covers it now, but girls flag football is a growing activity in sport across the country, but certainly here in Ohio. And a big part of that is because both of the NFL teams in Ohio are behind it and really support girls playing flag football. The Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton also is very enthusiastic about helping support this. So I think you'll see girls flag football continue to grow in Ohio. You'll see an event this summer in Canton that will be on television, and it'll be certainly a big event. And I think you'll see the OHSA get some additional support behind girls flag football as well.
One other thing that was discussed at the meeting yesterday, and I think we've already done a story on it, that all of the semifinal boys basketball tournament games will be in the Dayton area this year instead of being scattered out all over the state. But something they did announce yesterday that they didn't have information on before, many of those semifinal games, if they can't play them at UD Arena, will be at Wright State's Nutter Center.
I was wondering if they might also consider Kettering Alter. Have you been over there for any of the events?
Yeah, but what's the seating?
That seating capacity is probably 4,000.
Okay, they felt like they needed something in the neighborhood of 4,000 or 5,000. Yeah. So, hey, I get to talk about a Reds win for a change. They salvaged a victory in their series with the White Sox before the Pale Hose left town. 7-1, the final yesterday afternoon. The Guardians were off last night.
Will Benson, a big day. 3 for 3. Made the last catch of the game for the final out to really put things on ice.
Will needed a big game because since they called him up, he's only hitting like 198. So.
Yeah. Well, and still some of the starters are not batting that well. Right. I think Spencer Steer, last I looked, was like 157. You know, and
that's what married life did to him.
And we haven't seen Jacob Fraley in the games here recently. Did he get hurt?
Well, I don't know. When they brought Will up, you saw more of him than you did Fraley, so I'm not really sure what the story is with that.
Well, going into last night, they were losers of 9 of their last 11 games, so hopefully they can start climbing back up. But I heard during the pregame of this was the radio coverage yesterday. I was listening on Sirius XM, listening to the pregame coming home. I forgot that I could do that. And the historian, Greg Rhodes, comes on, and he's talking about the 1975 team. And he said, many of you might not remember that they had a sub-500 record come May 17th or 15th, I guess it was the date, of 1975. And Marty Brenneman had raved about being at a party late at night with a lot of the ball players. And coming into the locker room was Johnny Bench, and he tells Sparky Anderson, Coach, I don't think I can go today. I think I need a day off. And he said that this lit a fire under Sparky, and he has this team meeting, and he rips them one side and down the other, and basically says to Johnny Bench, Bench, you're going to start today, and you're going to play 30 innings if we have to play 30 innings to win this contest. And all of you, never again, no more of this. And that lit a spark. They won the game. Johnny Bench did play the entire game, which went 10 innings, not 30. But that started where they finished 93-50, I think.
You talking about 1975?
This was 1975. So he says, a lot of you remember the Big Red Machine of 75 and 76, but this is how the 75 season started.
Because they won 108 regular season games that year.
Yeah, so they, like I said, had a sub-500 record through the first, what is this now, 40 games they've played so far. So let's see if history repeats itself.
That'd be great.
It would be really good. All right, coming up in a moment, this date in history, I know.
Okay.
But I'm teasing this date in history.
You forgot.
It's the informational
play that
moment.
game with me. Aaron and I know he forgot. Yeah.
I did not forget. Usually that would be the case, but this was not today. Today, it's time to announce our Neil Coleman Insurance, Wyandotte Mutual, Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union.
And we basically already gave you the stats. Mr. KB Perkins, left-handed pitcher for the Unioto Shermans. He's now 8-0 on the season. Going into last night's game, he had an ERA of 1.22. He also had 4 of their 6 runs batted in that championship win last night and struck out 8 Pioneer players. And KB told us in the post-game interview on the radio last night that he and his battery mate, Keegan Snyder, they're going to go to Findlay, University of Findlay, to play baseball. So good luck to you guys and congratulations on the honors.
And he's been a good athlete in basketball as well as football, but baseball seems to be the way for him to go. So congratulations, KB. And if you would like to make a nomination of a player of the week, simply send us an email, and that is littermedia@gmail.com. And you can also see all of the players of the week so far when you go to littermedia.com. At the top, you'll find where it says Player of the Week. Mm-hmm. All right. Coming up is This Date in History. But first,
Litter Quality Propane. You know, we never give the phone number, but Dan's going to give that at the end of this commercial because I can't see it. Online propane monitoring and reporting. Know your home's consumption and gas remaining in the tank. Find out more at litterpropane.com or by calling
740-773-2196. And when you call that number, you'll hear me saying, welcome to Litter Quality Propane.
I was looking for a first job. I had been babysitting and decided it was something for a little more permanent. It pays very well. It's convenient. You can make your own schedule with the flexibility. That's something that I like. The people that I work with are great. I wouldn't ask for a better crew or management team to work for.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier, transactions are getting safer, and you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our Kingston National Bank mobility app today.
As a professional race car driver, I live for speed, power, and performance, on and off the track. That's why I use the Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower. Race into your local dealership today and test drive a new Dixie Chopper.
Time for This Date in History.
Hooray for Hollywood. 1929, the Academy of Motion Pictures and Sciences hands out its first awards at a dinner party for about 250 people held at the Blossom Room of the Roosevelt Hotel, which is still there, by the way, in Hollywood. At the time of the first Oscar ceremony, sound had just been introduced into film. But the Warner Brothers movie, The Jazz Singer, one of the first talkies, was not allowed to compete for Best Picture because the Academy decided it was unfair to let movies with sound compete with silent films. The first official Best Picture winner was Wings, directed by William Wellman. The most expensive movie of its time, with a budget of $2 million, that would be a B movie today. The movie told the story of two World War I pilots who fall in love with the same woman. 1929, the Oscars.
Have you ever looked up the lyrics to Hooray for Hollywood?
I have not looked up the lyrics. No.
I'm trying to do this right now because I want to have it in front of me.
I've heard it sung many times.
Chillicothe is mentioned in it.
But I've never looked that up.
The deal is, you know, Chillicothe was such a hub back during this heyday, vaudeville and everything else. And they talk about being in Hollywood, that every kid from Chillicothe or Paducah to Chillicothe can make it in Hollywood.
How about that?
I'm not finding the lyrics right now, but I wanted to have that in front of me so I could go ahead and back
Janet
that up.
Gaynor was the first Best Actress winner, and I can't remember who was the first male actor for a motion picture that year.
Oh, here you go. Hooray for Hollywood. That phony super coney Hollywood. They come from Chillicothe's and Paducahs with their bazookas to get their names up in lights, all armed with photos from local rotos with their hair in ribbon and legs in tights. That is the third verse of Hooray for Hollywood.
I wonder who wrote that would have known about Chillicothe.
The writer was Richard Whiting.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. Song is written for the 1937 musical film Hollywood Hotel, playing ironic tribute. I thought it would be iconic tribute to Tinseltown. So, yeah, Hooray for Hollywood, that screwy ballyhooey Hollywood, where any office boy or young mechanic can be a panic with just a good-looking pan, and any barmaid can be a star maid if she dances with or without a fan. Hooray for Hollywood, where you're terrific if you're even good, where anyone at all from Shirley Temple to Amy Simple is equally understood. Go out and try your luck. You might be Donald Duck. Hooray for Hollywood. Hooray for Hollywood. That phony super coney Hollywood. They come from Chillicothe's and Paducahs with their bazookas. Of course, both cities have the A plant, and that's where...
of course, in 1936, they wouldn't have.
True.
That came in the early 40s, late 39, 40.
But what year was this written?
You just told me 36, I thought. I thought you said 1936.
Come on. Pop up here. It was written for the 1937 musical film. Yeah. So I wonder how they... when did they start building the A plants?
Well, remember, you're talking about bazooka. We had this thing called Camp Sherman outside of town.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Did Paducah have a military establishment?
That I don't know.
Okay.
But Mr. Einstein goes to Franklin Delano Roosevelt, I think in 38 or 39, to say, hey, the Germans are working on this thing that might lead to quite an explosive bomb.
Let's build a bigger one.
And then the Manhattan Project started, I think, in 40 or 41. So,
all right.
Okay.
That's
it's
a look
Friday.
at the program.
It's Friday.
It is Friday. We are both out on Monday. My particular deal is a gig with Western High School. They will be having their senior breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning, so I get up early again.
Free breakfast.
And then their dress rehearsal for their commencement. And this is also where they walk through the school in their robes and everything, have that senior walk. And what I really like about what they do is they have the kindergarten kids go through too. So it's really neat to see them paired up. So that's happening. They'll have their senior showcase where each one of them some who will be signing for jobs, some will be signing for college, that sort of thing. They'll have a little ceremony for that on Monday evening. So we'll likely have something that we'll share with you, but we've been commissioned to do this the last few years for Western and their commencement. So I'll be tied up Monday, basically. I won't be here, but I'll certainly be busy.
My brother and I will be delivering the commencement address at Adena on Sunday afternoon, tag teaming. Mm-hmm. Now, we've done a number of funerals together. I don't know that we've ever done, I've done many commencement addresses.
Finally, a happy event.
But I don't know that we've done a commencement together, so this will be something different.
Okay.
Yeah.
This goes back to being brothers.
Yes.
I suppose,
and going to the same school, yeah.
Did you bury like cats and dogs as brothers?
Didn't do anything
frogs,
like that.
Anything like that? Nothing like that. No. All right, that's it for the program today. Aaron Glandon will be with you.
There's Mr. Hand.
As your MC for this particular event coming up next Monday. So until then, enjoy your weekend. We'll see you soon.